Welcome to Cards, Numbers and You. My name is Franz, and this reading is for all fire signs. And by fire signs, I don't mean only if you astrologically are a fire sign, but also anybody who feels identified with the fire energy. I know that I have a limited time in terms of, the cutoffs here on Instagram, so I'll try to be as fast as possible. This reading is for all the fire signs from March 1st to March 15th. If it resonates, click a like, follow, and if it doesn't resonate, just move on with the next tarot / numerology reading. Okay, let's start with the internal circumstances that has getting you to where you are right now. Let's see the external circumstances. Who are you in the nearest past? This is you in the past. Which are your physical challenges? Physical challenges. Which are your mental challenges in the present, obviously? And which are your emotional challenges in the present? Emotional challenges in the present. Now, how do we solve the external circumstances that have brought you to your current state? How do we solve the internal challenges or internal situations? What is a course of action to take to deal with your current physical, material world challenges? Oh, no. How do we deal with the challenges from the material world? How do we take action with the mental challenges in the present? Mental challenges. And how we deal with the emotional challenges in the present. Well, I use it, so whatever. And one advice from the Starseed Oracle for my fire sign friends, my fire energy friends. One advice. Beautiful. What a coincidence that it's prayer time here in Egypt, and you are gonna hear that in the background. I don't have anything that I can do to edit that out, so I hope it's not too distracting, right? Which are your past circumstances from the internal? Four of Swords. Which are your external circumstances from the past? Ten of Swords. Oof. Not easy, huh? And who are you in the current past? Five of Wands. Okay. Okay. When it comes to the internal circumstances, you've been resting. And what I mean resting, I mean as in you have taken a passive approach to life. You have been perhaps oversleeping, or somehow disconnecting from the world for too long, because your external circumstances are quite hard at an emotional level. You may have experience, of course, this is not a personal reading, so if you resonate with this reading, it is for you. If you don't resonate, it's fine. It is not for you, no problem. I feel some of you have been betrayed, and by friends, by people at work, by people at school, or at least that is the perception. And that is the reason why you have kind of retired from the world, you know, because these external circumstances have been too unbearable, you know. Somehow you feel that things were your fault when actually they weren't your fault. But we will see a little bit more about that later. In your current past, the Five of Wands on reverse means that you have right now taken an attitude in life of not giving up, but in a way you feel that what is the point, right? There has been a sense of defeat that obviously started here, and it has, you know, it originally from the external, but definitely there has been other aspects of life where you could have taken action and you decided not to, because it was easier to disconnect. And there is no shame in that, you know. When we're feeling overwhelmed at an emotional level or at a mental level, we just don't know how to cope, and sometimes that being excesses of any kind, it gravitates you to take that approach in life. So you feel that the only way that you can protect yourself is taking a step back on things, because this card in this particular deck, it means bravery and taking action and taking a leap of faith into what you believe is in right and fighting for what you want. But when it's in reverse, it's the contrary. You have allowed yourself to be overwhelmed, and right now this is your current past right now. So in the present, when it comes your external, not your external, in this case these are the physical challenges. You have the Seven of Swords. In the mental challenges, Six of Pentacles. And your emotional challenges in the present are the Lovers. And how interesting that you're going from defeat to kind of having a completely different approach in your present, because right now this Seven of Swords indicates that there is a level of dishonesty, and we have to take in consideration that these circumstances have toughened you up, but you haven't quite learned the lesson, so you kind of have more like an avoidance kind of attitude when it comes to the physical parts of life. That could be either monetary, you know, or it can also mean, you know, people taking advantage of you, because, you know, we have a history here of betrayal. So until you heal that, it's going to repeat again in the present, because this was the past and this is the present. So these two cards are related. Now, when it comes to the mental challenges, you have different options here, but these options present an opportunity for renewal. You have more options than you think. Perhaps you haven't realized the abundance that you have within your grasp. That is, of course, you are in a better mentality. So Six of Pentacles as a challenge is being overwhelmed here and not being able to see your abundance right now. From all the symbols, the sheep comes to my awareness a lot. I feel that there is some trouble involved, and I guess the next card are going to clarify that point of not. But I feel that for your mental, because here is the mental challenge, there is a travel that you must do that is going to do good for your evolution and to move you into the right direction. And the Lovers as an emotional challenge, even though typically this is a good card, but here we have the Goddess Frigg with Ve and Veli, which are Odin's brothers in the moment that Odin / Wotan, you know, if you're German, you're gonna know Odin as Wotan, but Odin and Wotan are the same. I guess I have covered that in the past, but the point is that you may be dealing with a situation where you are undecisive at an emotional level between two people. Because in one way, you feel, if you are in a relationship, you perhaps are being tempted right now to, you know, break up or, you know, cheat or something similar to that, which it wouldn't be too far-fetched given this character here. If you're a single person right now, you might still be clinging to someone from the past, and there is someone new that is interested in you, but you cannot let go of the thoughts of that ex or that person who was in your past. Again, it's gonna depend if you are currently or not single. That scenario is gonna play out differently. Now, these are the best cards, which is the advice, right? And in the advice, let's put this little human a little closer. When it comes to the advice at an internal level, we have the Five of Cups. I'm gonna have to show it here. This is Freya, the goddess Freya. And an advice to deal with external circumstances is the Seven of Cups, which are options. And again, this sheep came again here. Definitely, from all of the things that caught my attention, the sheep again caught my attention. So there's definitely a travel involved. Now, when it comes to deal with the internal circumstances that have brought you into these current feelings, is that you need to allow yourself to grieve. You need to face those uncomfortable feelings, and sometimes we don't want to feel, and we would rather sleep, not to face reality. But you know, sometimes it is important to cry and to let those emotions out, because if you do not allow yourself to have those emotions, you're not going to be able to move forward and finally get out of this bullshit right here, right? But remember that even though you are grieving some sort of loss, you still have two cups left. The love that you give to yourself and the promise of a new love. But in order for you to, you know, turn around and see your two cups, you need to allow yourself to grieve the loss from the past, that being betrayal from people, or that being, you know, those emotions that you don't want to face. It is time for you to really allow yourself to feel them so you can finally heal them and move on. All right, and in external circumstances you have different options. And again, I am sorry, here we go. So right here, you see the sheep that came into my awareness here. You're gonna be presented with an opportunity to travel. The travel might or not be far away to a different country, or that might be just a change of city, it might be a vacation, but it is important for you to embark in a new voyage. Why? Because part of growing is moving, right? You cannot move if you feel stuck, and the environment where you are right now is not necessarily conducive for that, and that being a short vacation, or that being simply moving completely to a different city or a different country. You're encouraged here to move on, and you're gonna have support, that being an guardian angel, that being your team of spirits, a spirit guide, that I means perhaps a goddess depending of your faith, but definitely you do have support from the other side, so to speak. So even if financially you wouldn't be able to do that travel, somehow you're gonna get the help in order for you to embark in that very necessary travel. Now, moving to the present, to deal with the physical challenges or the material challenges, you have the Nine of Swords. And to deal with your mental challenges, you have the Eight of Swords. How interesting. Both of the advice cards are swords and are not necessarily, if you know a thing or two about tarot, these cards are not necessarily the best cards ever. However, these are necessary measures. And what I mean by that, here in the Nine of Swords is a conclusion, finally, of the hesitation. Is somehow related to the advice of allowing yourself to grieve and allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel in order for you to move on. But here in the Nine of Swords, there is a sense of that you need to put to rest anything or everything that doesn't serve you. What I mean by that is that somehow, even if you're tempted with a job that offers you a lot of money where you are, it is necessary for you to finish that stage in your life. And it might not be comfortable, but it is necessary. And here in the Eight of Swords, it is interesting because the Eight of Swords typically means being trapped in your own mind. However, in the Vikings Tarot, this particular scene, you have someone who is sacrificing their king for Odin. And if in this card Odin's come out, I'm gonna yell in the good way. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh. I feel this relates to take the blinds out of your head, out of your eyes, I'm sorry, and see people for who they are, and finally deal with this sense of betrayal. Because either if there is someone who is betraying you at a external level, that actual person who is betraying you and you know who they are or you suspect to it, you need to take decisive action. I mean, let me show you that card so you can see what decisive action looks like. I mean, he literally sacrificed his king for Odin. If it doesn't relate to a specific person, it does relate to your own ability to take the blinds off and see circumstances and people for who they are. Sure, it sounds easier than it sounds easier said than done, but you know, these cards are like, both are calling you for decisive action, because these are advice cards. And there is a decisive action that you need to take, because you cannot continue to live like this. You are loved and you're taken care of by higher beings that look forward for your healing. And that process of healing might involve taking decisive action for your own good, you know. And finally, which is the advice for your emotional challenge? 5 of Pentacles. Let me put this here. I mean, the advice that you guys are getting is quite it's not sugar coated. Definitely it's not sugar coated. I don't know if you can get to see. I'm not gonna move where I am right now, because then the camera is gonna fall and we're gonna start all over again. That's not gonna happen. But 5 of Pentacles here. You're not him, you're him. You're the archer. Because there is a sense of you having to get out of the comfort zone and confront your fears. And it doesn't matter how hard or difficult they are, you can overcome it, because at the end, you are at the top. And look, if you see right here, this archer, look at all the light. This is dawning. The sun is coming up soon. After a lot of grief and a lot of darkness and a lot of depression, finally the sun is coming up and you're taking decisive action. What it means is that if you are being betrayed, if you are in a relationship, that is, it is time for you to confront your partner, particularly if you feel that all of this is related. And if you're single, you need to take care of that self-saboteur, the ego mind that wants to keep you in that bullshit kind of life. No, you're a brave soul, women or men. And it doesn't matter how hard it might seem, this decisive action is going to finally set you free, because hope and a new life are coming up right here. And that is also related to the chips, where I see them in both cards, here and here. Yeah. That being that you are too grounded where you are, and that actually will be hard for you to leave, that is exactly what you need. It's kind of like you need to wrap up all of the bullshit in your life, take decisive action and leave your environment, leave your city or country, whatever you're felt that you need to do. And as a final advice from the Starseed Oracle, let's see what they're saying to you, fire signs. Crack open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Right here, let's see. Can you read it? Rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So definitely this is a period where it's gonna be hard. I mean, there's no way to like put a spin to it. The process for you to like heal and move on is gonna be painful. There's just simply no way around it. However, that process, if you see the light here, that it's out of cracking that hard shell of suffering, of being in this dense energy for too long, finally we're seeing the breakthrough and we're seeing the light, the same light that we have here. But in order to see the light, in order to see hope, in order to see a new fresh day, it requires to surrender to the hard things in life and heal them. Because once you heal that, once you take the decisive action that you're asked to do, you're gonna be able to elevate yourself and go into where you are supposed to go, which is a better life. Thank you for watching.